Hello and welcome to another edition of Video Games to the Max. I'm your host, Sean Garmer, here with me as always, Mr. Mark Morrison.
Howdy.
And welcome back, Daniel Anderson.
Hello.
Let's see. Okay. I apologize. It's my fault that we have not done a show in a while. I've been having a lot of personal issues going on. I had to I'm not gonna go into it. I don't think we need to be here for 10 minutes. But basically, yeah, just a lot going on. So it's made it to where it was very difficult for me to be able to record and it be a good streaming quality. Been in hotels a few times, and everybody I think knows how a hotel Wi-Fi is. Uh, I did a recording on somebody else's show at a hotel, and it was I don't want to know if it was my fault that it came out not great, probably. So I didn't think that was right to do to everybody else, and moving and trying to find a place and all that, it's not great. So you know, I couldn't really think about video games while I'm trying to do all that, but we're back here. We're doing this. We got Game Awards predictions because that shows in basically a few days from when you'll get to watch this or listen to this. Oh, I got my Pokemon Violet impressions. Mark's got more God of War Ragnarok impressions. We got $70 games more happening with that. So we'll have all that and more right after this.
You are listening to Video Games to the Max.
All right, so just to get this out of the way, the housekeeping, in case this is your first time or 100th time listening, we always appreciate you. And if it is your first time, thank you for watching or listening. You can watch us live on Facebook. We have W2 Network on Facebook. We have on our YouTube, W2 Network channel, on Twitch, same thing, our Twitter. And, you can also watch us on demand on YouTube or Twitch as well. And then, of course, you can always listen on your favorite podcast catcher of choice, whichever one that is that you like. I use Podcast Addict myself, but if you like Apple or Google or whichever other thing, we're on there, iHeartRadio, Spotify, whichever podcast thing that exists, we're probably on there at this point. So just go check it out, rate, review if you like it. If you don't like it, you can always let us know in the comments or write the review there. And of course, if you want to hear more from us, that whole W2 network, whether it's on YouTube or on the podcast, you get everything we do. So we have a whole group called the Riley Broadcast Network. Now they're back doing boxing again. So they talk about Mayweather, Pacquiao. They do mainly movies and metal music. So, but pretty much any big movie that comes out, they're reviewing it. So if you can think about the biggest movie that came out recently, there's a review out there for you, and they do a great job. So go check them out. If you like anime, you got Todd the Keiki. They just came back from a little bit of a vacation. And then also MMA. We have a new MMA show called MMA for Marks as well that you can go listen to or watch as well on there. So lots to check out. If you're more than just a video game fan, there's a lot out there for you. So anyway, let's get to the video games. It has been a while, guys. Anything you want to say you went to or you've been doing that might be of interest here before we get going? Nothing? You didn't go some video game thing, Mark, or?
Not really.
No?
I'll just say that, we can get into it later, but Sonic Frontiers is shockingly not bad.
Well, that's good. That's positive.
Yeah.
There. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started with I guess it's really not a big deal, but of course, being a console war thing, it is a big deal for some folks. And I guess for the people that have the sticker shock, I guess that don't buy a lot of games, maybe. We have confirmation from Microsoft and Xbox that now they are also going to be doing $70 games with their first party titles starting in 2023, which, that's right around the corner at this point. So that means Starfield, that means Redfall, and whatever else comes out next year from Microsoft itself that is part of that AAA category that would make it $70, it will be that price. I saw the news and I was like, well, I mean, it's really not a big deal. Everybody's going that route at this point. There's inflation to account for. I'd much rather it be the video games than the consoles themselves. So $10. I mean, look, I get it. In other regions, it's not just $10. So luckily for, I think, all of us, we only live in a region where it's $10. But I know in Australia and Europe and everything else, it's more than that. So I feel bad for those people. But guys, I mean, did you kind of feel the same as well? Or did you kind of go, oh man, I didn't expect Xbox to do this yet? Mark, what'd you think?
Why not be 100? I mean,
100?
like, yeah, screw it. Why not say, hey, it's the same price as Game Pass. Just get that, like, because all these games are going to be in Game Pass anyway, and that's all they really care about. So, I mean, I realize they sell the game to like some rubes out there who don't have good internet. But
I mean, there are regions that don't have Game Pass that do have physical sales, so we can't just
they can say the same price, but like most of America has, well, what they want, or like as far as Game Pass goes, like requirements. So, I mean, $70 is fine. Like that's what people pay on PS4 or PS5 rather. But why not they should just include like a sticker on every box and just get Game Pass, like I said.
Well, yeah. I mean, they do have the family plan now as well, so you can get that and share it with some friends and just make sure you don't have an active subscription. You have to either cancel your own subscription or wait for it to end, and then you can be part of somebody's family plan. But other than that, there's not a lot of restrictions there, so you could save some money with Game Pass that way. Daniel, did you have any thought on the announcement of that?
I wasn't surprised. I figured it was going to happen eventually. I was kind of surprised at the timing because we're a month out from the new year, but yeah, it wasn't a shock, especially when Sony didn't really seem to experience a lot of reduction in sales because of the raised price. There's no reason not to do it at this point.
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely. And I think this comment from someone watching on Twitch is great as well. They reported they're losing $100 to $200 on every console. And, this is a way to make some of that up, although most of the people that are buying, I really want to know what those sales figures are for people that, I know there's people that have Game Pass and they still buy the games, but I want to know what those figures are for some of these, especially we're talking about new franchises now, right? We're talking about Starfield and Redfall, Horizon and Halo. Those are franchises that are known. People are going to go out and buy those, but will those have the same cachet, or will people just go and get Game Pass and play them for, essentially the subscription price? So, but either way, he's right. They need to make up some of that money. They need to make up some of that money to put the game, pay devs to put their games in Game Pass and pay the devs on the studio side as well that they already have. So that's a good shout. And I think the only one that would shock me at this point would be Nintendo, because the Switch is essentially a last gen console. So that one would be the one that would shock me if they all of a sudden decided, hey, we're going to charge $70 for our games too. When you definitely can't give the output that Series X or PlayStation 5 can do. And then, PC is still staying at 60. But obviously, I mean, do you see that where PC games might go to 70 as well, Mark? I mean,
I think they have once or twice, and no one really complained. But I mean, the problem with PC is there's something called piracy, so you can't
Yeah.
rock the boat too much with that, or else people will just say screw it and go to torrent it or something.
So what do you say to like I'm seeing a lot of people that are saying oh, you guys are being too nice about the $10 price increase. People should be clamoring more about games aren't worth $70 and all of that stuff. I mean, do y'all have any kind of thought on that of just are they right? Games aren't worth that much, or
games aren't a requirement. If you don't like it, don't play it. Or you don't like the price. Oh well.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always a sale.
There's always sales, and then also you look at like movies where it's what $15 for a 2-hour movie right now. So, I mean, you're getting more than 8 hours of gameplay from a game usually. So just on that scale alone, you would be breaking even. And then if you're getting some of these games are going to have 20, 30 hours of gameplay, you're still getting more entertainment for your dollar than you would going to watch a movie.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you're right about that. You definitely, especially if you enjoy the game, you're getting at least 10, 15 hours. And even if it's a shorter game that you're getting on Game Pass, again, you're not paying that much to get the game there. So why not enjoy it and get your money's worth there? I think folks that are they're just trying to start a push for that makes no sense. I just think you have to kind of understand that everything is going up at this point. All of our necessities are going up, so why wouldn't your entertainment things go up at that point as well? I mean, not to mention, you got to ship these physical things. As much as we are going digital, we're still sending physical copies of many of these games places. And, hey, devs got to make money. Everybody's got to make money. Remember, they don't make everything off when they make a physical game sell, some of that goes to the retailer as well. So, look, at the end of the day, you don't have to have video games. You do have to have food, and we don't really get a say in whether the bread is going up or the milk's going up. Kind of have to deal with that with video games. And I remember when we were kids, I paid like $80 for some
games
college basketball 60 for on Nintendo 64. I paid $80 for this college basketball game. So the fact that that the games are not going to go over 70 unless you want to buy the digital deluxe edition or beyond, then that, and it's going to be that. And then the floor is still, 10, 20, 30, 40, whatever. It is what it is. He said I paid $80 for Star Fox 64. That's right. I mean, damn, Super Nintendo games were so overpriced because most of them are being made in Japan and having to be shipped over here for one thing. So I think people are just too spoiled sometimes, too entitled, at not understanding that it's still a good thing that the max games are going to cost us $70. So that being said, we go from game prices to game leaks. Star Wars Jedi Survivor. We knew about this game a while, but we didn't really know a release window for the game. According to this Steam leak that's now been taken off, it's May release March 15th to March 16th. So it could still release somewhere in that week of March, regardless. I mean, that whole spring season of video games right now is absolutely stacked. Do we need another one coming out at that time frame? It's like, instead of having that one time where all the games came out between October and December, now it's let's run to release everything between January and March, and then whatever we didn't get to release, then let's put it out in the fall. I mean, is it kind of crazy to you guys that we've seen this surge of let's release everything at the beginning of the year?
No, because that's been happening since the Xbox 360.
Yeah, and I think at least in the U.S., first of the year is when people are getting tax returns back and they're going to have a bump in spendable money. So why not get some of the bigger games out when people could impulse buy a $70 game as opposed to having to plan ahead. And also, a lot of these games have been delayed.
Yeah, numerous times.
Yeah, so I think it just fell because of the delays too. And we could still see stuff moved around. It wouldn't shock me if a bunch of games they look at the number of games that are out in the spring and decide to push the Star Wars game to June or May. I mean, it wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, I mean, at least we know Nintendo did that with the Legend of Zelda game. So that's one game that's not coming out in that cluster of games that already looks full. Yeah, we might see a few more move over to then and balance out the year a bit more because, man, there was parts of last year that felt, Marc was on here talking about I'm playing some old games because there's nothing out and or I'm just like playing nothing because nothing's enticing me. So hopefully we avoid a lot of that this next year with so much stuff that got delayed and now looks to be coming out around then.
Don't worry, Elden Ring can only come out once.
No, it can come out multiple times. You just have to have the re-releases.
Yeah. The Game of the Year edition.
Collector's edition. The Game Awards edition or whatever they can come up with to try to drum up sales numbers.
But there's no DLC, so, it's...
Right.
At least not yet.
Yeah, we'll see if they get enticed to do that by the time 2023 rolls around. Well, at least we do know that we're getting some, as we always do every month, the PlayStation Plus games coming out for this month in December. And that's a pretty big get for, of course, Game Pass got it as part of the EA Play thing, but you don't own that at the end of the day. Whenever it does, and things do come off the EA Play, mostly it's the sports games, but things do come off of there. You'll actually now, as long as you keep subscribing to PlayStation Plus, you get to play all 3 games of the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. That'll be on there for December. Biomutant, which was a pretty underrated game from last year. I'm sort of interested. It's just the whole like open world nature of it that did not really entice me when it was first coming out. Then you get Divine Knockout Founders Edition, as well as your second PS5 game that's also coming around then. And those will be available starting basically right now. As soon as you're hearing this, you can go and download these games. So if you've been waiting to play Mass Effect or you've been wanting to play Biomutant, they'll be there for you to go download and play essentially for free. So there's that. And just to get this out of the way, because we'll be talking about a few other Xbox and Sony things here in a second. Microsoft also released the first half of Game Pass for this month. I'll go ahead and tell you right now, if you haven't played it, go play Eastward. It's an awesome little game that came out last year on Switch and PC. It's a big mix of Zelda and Earthbound, and it has the 2 sweetest main characters you'll find in a game. I love the crap out of that game. It's one of my favorite games of last year, so definitely I would go play that if you haven't yet and you have Game Pass. If for some reason you're one of the people that have not played The Walking Dead to its finale, you can do that as well right now. And right now you can also go download probably one of the biggest games that they've gotten on Game Pass in a while, Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. And it's out there for cloud, console, and PC. And Halo Neighbor 2, which that's been a thing Microsoft's been touting, but I really want to know how many people that loved the first Hello Neighbor that want to play Hello Neighbor 2. And then a couple of days later, you get High on Life and Potion Craft that's coming out December 13th. So I've been waiting for High on Life for a little bit. I love the comedy in it, and we'll see how that goes. You got Hot Wheels Unleashed Game of the Year Edition, Rainbow Billy and the Curse of Leviathan also to round out the month. So between the PlayStation Plus and Game Pass stuff, anything there that y'all are kind of interested in, or?
I mean, I never finished The Walking Dead, but I'll never play it probably either.
I know I did, and I cried. So, but yeah, wait, you never finished the first Walking? Oh, the whole series, okay? Because I never finished the first, like, the first part of it, not when it gets to Walking Dead 2, and I cried.
Yeah,
at the end.
I got through 2, and that's about it for me. I'm like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah, that's how far I got. I got to like 2. And part of them was shown, and then by then I was kind of like, yeah, I'm kind of getting tired of these Telltale games.
So is everyone else.
Yeah. I like the Batman because it was a little bit different. Like it made you have to use your reflexes a bit more and stuff like that. But
unlike the Guardians and the Game of Thrones one.
Yeah. Oh, and of course Tales from the Borderlands, which was freaking great. That's probably their best one aside from the first Walking Dead. So, but yeah, I mean, you can play all that stuff. I know I'm gonna probably try out Skywalker Saga. I might play that with Anaya as well. I know it's something we can play together.
I mean, those Lego games are still good, but they don't have online multiplayer. So,
thankfully, I don't have to worry
play
about
it too.
Yeah. It's a really good get for Microsoft because they've been kind of. I mean, a lot of third parties have been delayed, which hasn't helped them, but recently they've been kind of getting back on that of getting big games, and they announced a big game as well last week with Monster Hunter Rise and the Sunbreak expansion are both coming to Game Pass. They're also coming to PS5, PC, and PS4. But I mean, with what we saw with them, they couldn't do it with Resident Evil Village. They were able to do it with Monster Hunter Rise. It's a great get for them as far as bringing that Japanese audience, a multiplayer audience as well. Get friends together to play on Game Pass, and then
hopefully,
yeah, hopefully. But you always have at least that first week or two bump where people try out stuff, and if they like it, man, they might get their friends to try it, and they can do it without having to, everybody's got to own a copy of the game or whatever. So that's helpful for them. And then Sunbreak will come out, I think, in June, which would make it the 1 year anniversary from when it came out on Switch. So there's that. At least. Pretty big grab for Microsoft. I mean, I don't know that I like the Monster Hunter games. It's just like I never had somebody to play it with either. So maybe if I had like a group to play with, I would kind of get into it more. But
good luck with
I never
that.
trying to play solo. It was not the greatest experience. So hopefully the online is better in this game than
it's not.
It's not.
No.
That's disheartening.
At least on PC it wasn't.
Oh, it wasn't? Okay. Yeah, you reviewed it, right? Okay.
I tried to.
Didn't work for you there?
Nope. No, I mean, it was more cumbersome than Monster Hunter World. And it was already bad in that game. So.
Oh, man. That's not great. Well, at least it's there, and you don't have to pay for that bad online play. But a lot of people loved it. They bought it. They made the expansion pass because of it. So it is there for that. What I feel like is the bane of our existence, guys, this Microsoft and Activision deal. Trust me, I'm, kind of tired of it myself. But there's new developments in it all the time, so I guess we sort of have to talk about it. I'm going to try to be as quick as possible I can with all this minutia here. So if you remember the last time we talked about this on this show, Microsoft had offered Sony a 3-year deal plus a potential 3 years after that to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation. Now they have offered a 10-year deal, a decade-long deal, to PlayStation to keep Call of Duty there and keep it the same way where they all release at the same time. Obviously, I think there's a contractual agreement where they can't release it on Game Pass for a while anyway. But whenever that expires, they could technically release it on Game Pass. That's really what Sony's worried about. I don't think they necessarily care that much about this exclusivity, whether this deal or not. They really just don't want it to be on Game Pass, quite honestly. But that's not something Microsoft's probably going to budge on. Either way, the latest was that the FTC could file an antitrust lawsuit at one point to block it. Now there's word that it could wind up in a 2-2 split on the board, and then it winds up passing with this concession and possibly other concessions. Then Sony has gone on to say that Microsoft is trying to make them like Nintendo, where they would have nothing in the shooter space at all, and that you'd go to Microsoft for everything that involves shooters, basically. To that, I say, yeah.
No, there was some like hilarious shit talking about EA in that. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, they talked crap about Battlefield because that's the closest competitor, and it's not even close, and it's true. That's also on Game Pass, by the way. And I don't think I've ever had one inkling to play it because I've never heard a good thing about the latest Battlefield at all. So, and that's not good. I mean, Sony does have a point there. But also Sony has shooter franchises that they refuse to revive. So that's on them at that point. And basically, again, they're talking about the whole, this could make people switch over to Xbox. People have associated Call of Duty with PlayStation for a long time now. So now we're worried that they're going to do the opposite and go to Xbox. There's a lot of stuff in here. I'm not going to go over all of it. You can read that yourself. It's just too much to do in one thing here. But basically, Sony's complaining. Microsoft is saying no. Microsoft's even going to the point of making stupid statements like, "Oh, Call of Duty's not that important. Just let it go through."
Then
But
why are you trying to buy it?
No, that's the point. It's like it's dumb. They're both both looking stupid at this point. Daniel, you haven't been on to talk about most of the stuff anyway. I mean, like, what do you think about it?
Yeah, so basically, it just looks like, to me, Sony is scared to death of this happening. They're trying to say Call of Duty is the franchise that makes everything profitable. And if it goes exclusive, then everybody's going to go to Microsoft. Thing is, just because that could happen, it doesn't mean it's necessarily going to hurt consumers. And the whole point of antitrust lawsuits is that it hurts the consumers, not that it hurts your competitor. So, I mean, I don't think Microsoft would do that anyway because they would lose too much money doing that. Because, I mean, let's face it. Back when it first came out, Microsoft had the agreement and got the DLC first for all the Call of Duty games. Then Sony paid money to get the DLC first for all the Call of Duty games. So it's gone back and forth. Honestly, it's just whatever people's friends are playing on, that's what they're going with. But you can't tell me somebody said, I'm going to get a PS5 because I want to play Call of Duty on the PS5 and not the Xbox. It's the other games that people get the consoles for. And I think Sony's exaggerating. I think Xbox is exaggerating. And I've given up trying to predict what governments will do because I don't know. It's whoever's going to pay them the most money gets their way, it seems like.
Yeah. I mean, I think it'd be funny if that did happen. GZDR Forever is saying that Microsoft might as well just give a Call of Duty to every one of the console makers, and then you have Warzone that's free. It'll make everybody happy. I guess maybe, but Nintendo really doesn't care whether they have Call of Duty or not. They don't need it. So,
No.
But I would say that they have a point in a way that Call of Duty is such a huge thing for this industry that taking it away from one console would be detrimental to Sony in how much money they can make. But then that's on Sony as well to try to, okay, you took that away. Let's see what we can do with all these live service games we want to make and all these multiplayer games we want to focus on to see if we can find another cash cow for ourselves or whatever. And right now, Sony has to. They haven't really been able to accomplish that. Like the ones that have been are Rocket League and Fall Guys that are multi-platform. They're not Sony exclusive. They are exclusive on PS Plus for a while, but then they go on the other consoles and that's it. Like they're gone. They're now on other things, or then Epic buys them and they're epics at that point. So I kind of get it in a way, but they're also like just being babies, and they have somehow gotten all these different regulators to just believe that, oh my God, the whole video game business is going to go down if this happens. And I find it interesting that there's a comment from Microsoft themselves that says that Sony's the loudest complainer about this whole thing. I think it was in an article that they're the loudest complainer of this whole thing. And yes, we could try to make it exclusive, but it doesn't behoove them to do it because, like Daniel said, they lose so much more money from taking it away from Sony. They've used Minecraft as an example that why would they do that? It's just basically like a losing effort. And besides, their whole point is, and Phil's even said this already, that what he wants, and now the CMA are investigating this as well, he wants to remove that duopoly that Google and Apple have on the mobile store. He wants, for him, the biggest thing is Candy Crush and King. It's not Call of Duty that much, because even though it's been going down lately, mobile is still huge. And if you can have a foot in the mobile space, that's big for Microsoft. That's a revenue stream right there that can fund a lot of other things.
Then, like I said, spin off Call of Duty.
Well, and I'll add this. Does anybody not believe that the instant this is ruled one way or the other, Sony isn't going to fully buy Square Enix?
I don't think they can afford it, but it'd be funny.
Well, as he's also saying here in the Twitch chat that if this still goes through, it opens the door for Tencent to buy Epic or Rockstar, then make their own console and say, if you want to play GTA Fortnite, you need to buy our own console. I mean, don't they already have like a big percentage in Epic anyway?
Yeah, they do.
The thing is, they wouldn't buy Rockstar. They would have to buy Take-Two, and I don't think Take-Two would allow themselves to be bought. If there's one company that's not going around begging for somebody to buy them, it's Take-Two, because they have Rockstar, because they have the NBA 2K and other things. Like,
I mean,
yeah,
the old historical aspect is look at like what happened with Madden and the Dreamcast. That was
what do you mean?
deciding.
Yeah.
That was one of the deciding factors of the Dreamcast not succeeding.
Yeah, but I mean, I also think that it's just Sega was at the bare end at that point.
Yeah,
I mean, like, they had lost so much to PlayStation that it was going to be really hard for them to compete at that point. I don't know. I agree with you that Madden not being on there helped, but I also don't think that was the nail in the coffin.
It wasn't the nail, but it was a nail. I mean,
yeah. But again, is this gonna kill Sony? they're still going around money hatting games. So like this hasn't deterred them from doing that.
I mean, even if Sony somehow bought Square, like however many games Square sells in a year still doesn't even come close to Call of Duty.
No,
no, definitely not. Definitely
but while they don't have the one big franchise, they have Final Fantasy. While they don't have Call of Duty and the numbers that's putting out, you still have Final Fantasy. You have all the online service of the game that just shot up this year with WoW dropping the Final Fantasy MMO. You have Dragon Quest, which has a core audience. And for the most part, all those games are exclusive to the PlayStation anyway at this point because Sony's paying to make it. It used to be Final Fantasy was the biggest game on any console. Xbox never got it, but they still survived and thrived.
That's because Xbox wasn't around when they were the biggest.
Well, but no, I mean, right at the end of the PS2 is when the Xbox came out, and then the 360 came out, and even then they didn't get all of the Final Fantasy games.
Right.
But they still found stuff that people wanted to be able to succeed. And it's the same thing. If Call of Duty somehow went away in 10 years from Sony, you can't tell me they would not have 2 or 3 shooter franchises that had released in that time to try to replace Call of Duty. I mean, Sony had what was considered the best shooter of the generation in the SOCOM series, and they just let it die.
Yeah, I mean they did. Guerrilla decided they didn't want to keep making their shooter franchise, so it's and better to them because Horizon's probably done a heck of a lot better than Killzone. So they let Resistance die off as well. So those are your franchises that are kind of gone. And could they bring SOCOM back? Maybe. But
bring Warhawk back instead.
Yeah. Yeah, I do wonder if like Sony would actually just kind of tie the knot, put the ring on it, and say, "Okay, Square, what do you think? You're barely releasing games on other consoles as is.
No,
hey, we'll let you. Yeah,
they are releasing a ton of shit on the Switch.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, oh, Nintendo's Japanese. They're not like our main competitor, very much like Microsoft is doing with Sony in the Call of Duty side. We'll let you keep releasing stuff on Switch. Just you definitely can't release anything on Xbox.
But Sony could afford to promote those games more than Square can right now.
And that also, man, because look at all these games that are coming out. And even Reunion, which is coming out in like a week, that I'm showing a trailer for, they really haven't been promoting that much either. So they've just been like all these games that released in the like late summer to the fall.
Because they're all the same.
Yeah. No, they're not all the same. They're just like lower tier franchises. So they're just kind of like letting them be or whatever. But it's just like, man, imagine if you would have promoted these games, how much more people might have bought them.
How many more copies of Harvestella would have sold? In the millions.
Yeah. Well, Harvestella is probably the one that was promoted the most because it was on a direct. But yeah, I mean, like, could Star Ocean have sold a little bit more? Could Valkyrie Elysium maybe? Yeah, sure. You never know. He brings up Sony could let Bungie revitalize SOCOM.
Yeah.
Nah. I don't think Bungie wants to touch that one either. So.
I mean, I think Bungie is going to be making their own stuff. Like, they want to make their own, they want to have something besides Destiny that they're doing well in, and they fought to be multi-platform as well. So we'll see how that goes. Does Sony ever kind of go back on that, or was it signed into the contract that they can't ever decide to keep that from going multi-platform? We'll see how that actually goes, but it is a thought. I wonder if Sony would ever like branch off a part of Bungie and be like, okay, we need you to try to bring back SOCOM or make a game that of a franchise that we have that
make a new disruptor. Let's go.
Let's go with it. Why not? Well, speaking of other companies that own things, Embracer Group, there's not out of the loop here. They recently did a poll where they had people give their thoughts on Legacy of Kain. Did they want to see it get rebooted? And apparently there was an overwhelming response of yes, we want to see it come back. How do you feel about bringing back Legacy of Kain?
I'd be all for it, but not if it was Embracer doing it.
I mean, they own the studio, so.
I mean, I'd give it a shot, see how it is. I think there's a lot of nostalgia for that franchise, and you'd be crazy not to tap into it. But I think the best thing to do would be, if you can, remaster and re-release the originals and use that to kind of test the market for it.
Oh man, that first Legacy of Kain game is some rough shit.
Yeah.
Soul Reaver is fine, but like the first Legacy of Kain is like, oh my god, what is this?
I could definitely see him remaking or remastering Soul Reaver. I mean, but considering the way that Embracer Group does these remaster type things, I wouldn't have a lot of faith in it because they haven't been really good.
That's a pretty archaic game by today's standards. Also, like it's good, but like no map, no like little camera control, combat is not great to say the least.
Well, do you think they would keep the story but release it with a newer version, with update it for modern gaming? Have the map, improve the combat. That'd be cool.
Sure. Make it like more of like a Metroidvania, which kind of already was back then.
Yeah.
But, yeah. No, that's going to bring back Nosgoth, that multiplayer shooter that no one cared about.
God. The less we speak about that, the better. Honestly. I mean, this is up Embracer's alley. They love bringing back stuff.
There was that canceled Legacy of Kain game that Square Enix, said no to, that looked interesting to me.
Yep,
that's true. It was basically like, what was it? That Shadow of War game or Shadow of Mordor before that came out. And hey, that didn't do too bad.
Yeah, it seems like this. Who knows if it comes to fruition? Knowing Embracer, it probably would because they want to. Yeah, sorry.
That game isn't even on Steam anymore. I think Square pulled it off because they said some crap about like, oh, it has some issue, but they never said what it was, and they never bothered to like fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, the Steam store page says Square Enix has temporarily removed this title from sale to work on some important updates.
How long ago was that?
I mean, that was like 2 years ago, maybe 3. I mean, the fact that the store page still says Square Enix owns this might give you some indication about how much Embracer cares.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if they're actually going to do something with it, then they would make the changes. But
they're not.
Yeah. But again, I mean, they're not. We've seen this with many of their franchises. What they do, they like to bring back the old games and then try to get some kind of love around it so they can make a new game. So it wouldn't be too far-fetched to see this happen. But
they're always so bad at it. So that's
yeah, I know. That's why I'm saying I don't really have a lot of faith with.
like I think there's some Embracer thing about like they were disappointed by the sales of Destroy All Humans 2, and someone commented like that came out like there was like no promotion with it at all. So
Yep.
it's like, yeah, no wonder the sales sucked because you guys didn't advertise it.
I mean, they were so disappointed by the response to Saints Row that they have Gearbox taking care of it now.
Right. I'm sure that's really going to improve the writing for the next Saints Row game.
I mean, maybe it'll go back to being the old Saints Row, though, you know?
Now those have claptrap shitting and everything in the city then.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you're gonna pick one of their studios to grab it, that's not necessarily the worst one. But
I mean, it's the most successful one for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's similar to their other franchise, like the Borderlands and all that. I mean, it's not too distant from that, you know?
Right. Make another Red Faction game.
Yeah. Well, we know that they won't be bringing out Dead Island 2 pretty soon because it got delayed again. It's the game that just continuously gets delayed over and over and over. Is it actually going to come out on April 28th or whatever?
Well, that does get it past the glut of games in January and February.
Yeah,
they should have had the new release date be April 1st.
Yep. Why not?
I'm sure the game's going to come out. Now, whether it's going to be good or not, who knows? But
I can know.
Oh,
I can see my crystal ball from here saying no.
I'm trying to be optimistic.
I mean, it could surprise and be good. It's not like Saints Row was terrible. There was people that liked it. It still got good sales. Dead Island 2 could follow suit, right? It's a known quantity game. People like the first one. They've been waiting for this game to come out for a while. So, there'll be some excitement around it.
Waiting almost 10 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
10 years.
I feel like the long wait is going to hurt it more than anything else.
Hey, it worked for Duke Nukem Forever.
It worked.
I wouldn't say it worked.
I still have the leaked prototype version of that Dead Island 2 from 2015 on my computer.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah. I'll be more interested just to play that game to see how it compares to that thing.
Yeah. All right. I mean, this is one of those things of this game has been delayed so many times. It's it doesn't really. I don't think it phases people that much that game's getting delayed. So
again, it's a matter of advertising.
Yeah.
When this thing comes out, who's gonna even notice or pay attention? At least Dying Light had some buzz around it.
Yeah, I mean, but at least the thing is that we're gonna get, people that are gonna be interested in that series, that know that series, maybe some lapsed gamers that go, "Oh, there's a new Dead Island,"
Yeah, but the first Dead Island was fine enough, but they made 2 more that sucked.
Yeah.
Dead Island Riptide was just a glorified expansion pack that wasn't good, and then Escape Dead Island was terrible.
All right, fair enough. Well, Mark, tell me about this Tetris Grandmaster. Are you?
That's me. I'm the Tetris Grandmaster.
No. Well, aside from you being the Tetris Grandmaster.
I mean, I don't know. I know it came out or it's coming out.
Yeah.
It's the competition version of Tetris. I think that's what they play now. I don't like it because I don't like the T-spin bullshit personally.
Oh yeah, you're not big on that. I forgot about that.
Right. I am friends with the girl or one of the people who runs like Tetris in America or something like that. I forget her like exact position, but she like works for the Tetris company.
Yeah, it is a Tetris, like Arcade Archives
Right.
version that's coming to Switch and I think PS4 or something. So
it needs like the game, just call it the GB Tetris and have it be the Game Boy version of Tetris.
Yeah. I mean, sure, it's Tetris. It's cool that we're getting another new version of it.
Sure.
So there's
This will
that.
be the third.
Yeah, plus that
modern
Tetris
consoles.
99 and
Tetris or Puyo Puyo Tetris is still coming. It's made a sequel to that surprisingly.
And then the connected one that was
right.
Tetris all the
Effect.
rage. Yeah, Tetris
right.
Effect. So I love that one. And that one was cool to play in VR as well. So definitely, I think if you're not a big Tetris fan, I think Connect was a big victory for that. I think that got a lot of people into playing Tetris that maybe don't all the time. So
yeah,
there's that at least. That being said, well, let's go ahead and talk about games we've been playing here before we get into the final stress, because some of the other stories have to do with kind of leading into our Game Awards predictions here. So we'll get into that when we get there. There is going to be some Sonic Frontiers extra content, Mark. So that's good that there's three free DLC updates coming. It's going to have a photo mode, jukebox, challenge modes. One of them is going to have Sonic's birthday and open zone challenge, a new Coco, and then new playable story content. You've been playing Sonic Frontiers, apparently.
Yep. None of this bullshit is necessary. That game is perfect as is.
Wow, Mark saying that a 3D Sonic game is perfect. The world truly has gone places now. You are not the biggest Sonic 3D fan. So
I like Sonic Frontiers. Don't get me wrong. The game is like supremely janky.
Okay.
But it's in a janky way that I can appreciate, and it's never broken technically.
Okay,
the only
that's
thing I
good too.
The only thing I had like weirdly break on me was you have to click these memories to talk to your friends. Like you need to click 10 of these like wrenches to talk to Tails. But the counter for that broke in my game, where it would just say like you need to collect 0, and I'm like, okay, like I have 200, like it would just say like you need 0 constantly, even if I had only 0, and I'm like, what is going on here? And like the last island kind of screwed that up a little because it kept saying like I needed like it's like you need 3 of these items to talk to this chick, and it's like I have 60 of them, and it's like you need 3, and I'm like, okay, I think it like meant I needed like 90 or something, but it just like the counter was just like broken. But like that was the only thing that like was like weirdly screwed up in my game. Everything else is great. It's like a weird collectathon game that like it's so meaningless that like it can just do anything else. It can just have a podcast on or something and not pay attention at all. I was like watching Scrubs episodes as I played this game, and it didn't matter at all.
Damn, I don't know if that's a good thing or bad.
It's a good thing. Like
okay,
like the level, like the cyberspace levels are great because they're like a minute long.
Yeah,
or they're like neon. What's that game? Neon White. It's like those types of stages, where it's like you have to get through this thing for like 45 seconds, but who cares? That's fine. Like you just blow through
I love Neon White. So
like the longest stage is like 3 minutes, maybe, or like maybe like 2.5. Like they take it like the S time, or like the S rank.
Yeah.
But like I kept thinking about like Sonic Adventure, like that first goddamn beach level in Sonic Adventure, like 9 minutes long, and I think this sucks. The open world is like really good. Like it's funny the DLC like mentions that you can get more Cocos. I think that's what they're called. And it's like
Yeah,
you
Cocos,
collect you collect like hundreds of these things in the game. Like who cares? Like it's like, oh, I can get another one. It's like, yeah, okay. This doesn't matter at all.
I mean, so how is the actual, like, when you're going around the 3D parts and
So it's weird. Like there are triggers in the game that, like, if you go up like a boost pad, it like lock you into like a 2D perspective, and you can't get out of it like really easily. But it's still kind of fun because you can still find ways to break it. Like you can just use your homing jump to just get to the end of the puzzle, like not even go through it, and just kind of like fall on the thing you want to collect, and that be it. The two funniest things in the game though are there's like a speed and power system, like upgrading your abilities, that does absolutely nothing. It's hysterical.
So like the upgrades are like useless? Or?
Well, you have like an ability tree also. Like that actually is useful. Like that whole like kicking your feet out to like make rings, like make waves appear. Like that breaks the game entirely because like bosses are like you can just do that constantly to bosses and they get destroyed instantly from it. It's great. But like the actual like upgrading your speed and power does nothing. Like I upgraded it pretty early on, and it's like, well, according to the speedometer, I'm still going the same speed as I was at the beginning of the game. So I guess that's cool.
That's okay. That seems stupid.
The fishing mini game also breaks the game because you can, like, you have to collect certain numbers of things to progress the storyline. Like you need to collect like character tokens to talk to characters. You have to collect. Going through the cyberspace levels unlocks emerald or chaos emerald keys, and like every island, if the main goal is to collect the chaos emeralds to like beat the boss. So it's like, okay, play these cyberspace levels, collect the keys, collect the emeralds, or you can fish and just collect all the keys that way, and just go to the emeralds that way. Like you actually don't need to play most of the cyberspace levels, and I didn't. And I platinumed that game, and it was awesome.
Awesome.
And
so, I mean, like, what did you think about the combat? Like, are you?
It was really good.
Or?
Yeah. The supersonic boss fights are like incredibly janky as well. Like you're facing like so many huge enemies, and like you don't even know where the hitbox is for most of them. And like one enemy is great in the game. You're like supposed to like it like puts his leg down, and you're supposed to like boost up its leg to like hit it in its head. But like 80% of the time, the boosts would fail. Like the game would just kind of like jank out, and I was like, "This is still great." And the absolute best thing in the game is the soundtrack. It is hysterical. And I want.
I thought you were going to tell me it was great. So why is it hysterical?
No, it's hysterically great. Like, okay, it is like better than Metal Gear Rising soundtrack.
Wow. So why is it like? Is it just like it doesn't make sense with what you're doing in the game, or?
Well, load up the private chat YouTube video just for a second. You'll see why.
Okay.
But it is like some metal singer, I think, does the songs. Oh man, it's awe-inspiring, and how it's like so bad it's good.
Okay, I can go with that. Is there a story to this thing at all, or?
Yeah, it's like weirdly not dumb. Like they didn't make Knuckles a total joke of a character like he's been for the past 20 years. Like in Sonic, I think it was positive. In Sonic, I think it was Sonic Boom, Rise of Lyric. He couldn't tell the difference between left and right.
Okay.
Like he'd like look in his hands and go, "Wait, like what is left and what is right, and it's like, wow, okay. But yeah, in this game, does like every character has like weirdly good writing and like an actual like character, except for Big the Cat, but who cares?
So Big doesn't give you any like new fishing rods or
No, it's just like the dumbest mini game ever. You just press X and like when the ring is in the bigger ring, and that's it. Like no like fighting, like no reeling in bullshit. No, none of that stuff. It's just like nope.
oh man, that's the best part there.
No, it's not. It's terrible. Like, I don't want to have to like, think about this crap. I just want to like get on with it. But that's like an easily top 5 game of the year for me.
Damn, that says a lot right there. Sonic Frontiers, top 5 game of the year.
Yep. I bought it, I beat it, I platinumed it, and I sold it back to the store.
That's a victory in itself right there.
And I only lost about $5, so I was pretty happy.
Damn. Total win there.
Yeah.
So this other big game that it's been a while since we got to talk about it. It's been almost a month since it came out now. Have you beaten God of War Ragnarok or you?
Nope. When I got Sonic Frontiers, I got completely derailed by that. And
okay.
I'm still playing Ragnarok, but yeah, like I said, I just don't like the construction of it too much. And it was funny. I was listening to like not the Giant Bombcast, but like the other Dan Reichert podcast, and he was talking. He had the same feeling. He was like, yeah, he was like, yeah, I think I like Sonic Frontiers better. And it's like, hell yeah, you do.
Damn.
Yeah.
That says a lot there, I think.
And he's correct.
So, like, what is your, for people that maybe they've played it, but they don't kind of understand what you're saying? Like, what is your, I guess, issue with the construction of it? Or
I don't like how there's not really a hub world in Ragnarok anymore. Like, I like that big lake in the 2018 version, where like after every big story event, the lake would change, or like you would like new parts of it would unlock. This doesn't have that. Like in every kind of world you kind of visit now, like there are side quests to do, and they're mostly fine, but like that sense of exploration is like kind of just gone for me. And I think combat is also just not quite as good as in Ragnarok. Like you have this like chain ability to like kind of like whip your chain up and like turn it on fire, but I don't really know like what the point of it is, because it's so slow that I'm like, how am I supposed to use this in combat? Because it's too slow for me.
Yeah.
I'm also playing WoW.
Oh, the Dragonflight?
Yeah.
How is that?
It's more WoW. Like, I'm riding around a dragon now, which is kind of goofy, because it's like, oh, we can, dive to the ground and get a speed boost, and like the dragon has like stamina, so you can only do this like so long or fly for so long before it kind of just gets tired and goes to the ground. And It's like, yeah, why can't I just use my fucking original flying mounts and just bypass all this bullshit to begin with?
So there's
like
that's the only special thing about
they added talent trees, which is kind of hilarious. They were like, oh, we brought them back. It's like, you took them out in the first place. Like, like don't act like this is so great. Like, it's more WoW. Like I haven't hit the level cap yet, or the like end game. I mean, I doubt I'll hit that at all, but it's fine. I haven't heard the new class yet. I know that's pretty different, so we'll see what happens with that.
All right. At least I guess you seem to kind of be enjoying it.
Oh yeah. WoW is nice to dip your toe back into every once in a while.
All right, fair enough. Daniel, anything you've been playing? Or?
So I've been playing Pokemon Violet.
So have I.
Yeah, I saw the reviews before I got it. I expected it to be a glitchy, buggy mess, and I was surprised it wasn't as bad as everybody made it sound. I've actually really enjoyed the game. I've only had it crash on me once, and I've played it a few hours. Uh, I mean, I've gone through the initial main quest. Main quest. I'm at the point where I'm re-challenging the gym leaders, and
Okay.
I've only had my game crash one time.
I don't think I've had the game crash on me at all. Um, I think I haven't played a lot because, like I said, what I was going through. It's just really not. I haven't had time to sit down and play much. I've gotten through the that first tutorial thing, the first tutorial quest, got to the school, and then explored a little bit after that. But what's so different for me, I think, compared to the other Pokemon games, is the Pokemon are just so there. And look,
Yeah.
there's a lot of that from Legends Arceus as well, but just even before you get to the school, you see so many Pokemon. I'm already wanting to catch the ones I'm seeing. I'm leveling up the ones I have, catching more. I'm not just going from the town to town and doing all that stuff like I would in the other games. It does feel like you're on an adventure and you don't feel like you're being directed constantly. You do have the thing that tells you, oh, hey, do this or whatever, but it doesn't feel like it's overbearing on you. Hey, do it,
Yeah, and I was the same way. I ended up spending a couple hours just exploring, catching whatever I could. I mean, I've just honestly, I'm at the part now where I'm supposed to re-challenge the gym leaders, and instead I'm just going around catching whatever I see, new stuff I see. I think
Right.
I've had three shiny Pokemon appear just randomly, not even really hunting them down.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I'm enjoying the game a lot more than I thought I would, especially after seeing some of the initial reviews. I mean, it's fun. That's the biggest thing I can say about it. It's fun, it's entertaining, and even if I'm just gonna, and this is something I haven't ever been able to do in a game, I can just sit down. If I have an hour before I have to go to work, I can sit down, play for an hour, just run around looking for new stuff, catching it, and I don't get bored. I enjoy it. I mean, it's fun. That's the best thing I can say about it.
That's how I play Sonic Frontiers.
Yeah, I didn't. I For one, what they were saying about the game didn't really faze me because I don't really worry too much about glitches and that kind of stuff. It's a Pokemon game. It was never gonna look super amazing on a Switch that's obviously outdated hardware at this point. Yes, can you say other games look better? Xenoblade Chronicles runs better, whatever. We can say that all day, but I haven't run into these ridiculous glitches or whatever that everybody else has. Also, I had the benefit of playing with two patches now. I didn't play it immediately from the word go. The moment, I wasn't playing it pre-release like a lot of these people that were posting this stuff anyway, but I've been enjoying it. I've had fun. Normally I'm not one that catches a lot of Pokemon. I usually try to find my six party members really fast, and then we start getting going with the gyms. And this one, because you constantly see them, and you're like, I see all these new ones all the time, whether they're from. I try to keep my Pokemon, the ones that I keep in my party, to the ones that are new to that game. But obviously, I still catch the ones that are from the older games, But it's cool to basically, you go down a path and you'll literally run into 20 different Pokemon there, and it's just so much fun to see what go around the corner and see what you're gonna find out what you're gonna see next. And just I really love that they took this step of Pokemon. Maybe it's not perfect right now, but they can keep going down this, and I don't think I'm gonna get tired of it for a while. It makes you want to go back and keep exploring, keep finding things, and that's really cool for a Pokemon game too.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing that really helps because you can be walking around and you just see something that, hey, I've been through this area 3 times. I haven't seen that before.
Right.
Let's go ahead and catch it and see what it is. I mean, it's even though you get the new Pokemon and all the new games, everything for the most part, you're actually getting to see them and focus on them, even out in the wild, instead of just walking through grass and having something pop up.
Yeah, it's like you're not going around 30 different times trying to see if this one sighting of whatever Pokemon is supposed to be there will show up. It's like, oh no, it's right there, and I can get it right now if I want to. And that's an awesome aspect of that. And just also that whole feeling of like, oh, let me go over here and see what's over here and go over there and what's in this little town here, what's in there, you know. So that's great for Pokemon. It needed to be that for a long time. Hopefully, whatever the next step of the Nintendo consoles is, will be able to be like the much better realization of that. But man, they have a really great direction to go on with now with this, which is awesomely positive.
Yeah.
So, that's really the well. Okay, I did play Vampire Survivors, and I totally get it. I totally get why everybody loves it. It is very addicting, I will say. I sat there, I think, for like 2 hours. While I was doing my 2 hours of overtime, I would do what I have to do, pause it, then go back to playing while I'm waiting for a call to come in or do something. And then, and it's like it auto attacks. So you're just kind of like going around just killing the hordes of enemies that come out, and then you constantly get upgrades every time you level up. So it's like constantly giving you something. And it just, if you're one of these people that likes collecting things in games or just likes being constantly rewarded in games, like you will be I think very happy with this game. If you can get over the pixel art, because obviously you kind of have to be okay with that. But yeah, I love the fact that there's like things to upgrade and the different characters you can get and stuff like that. So yeah, I just like it motivated me to get all the characters and try them all out and find which one's best for me. And like, yeah, I just had a lot of fun with that game. It's so I think the hype has been getting is well worth the hype for that. I wouldn't say like it's game of the year or anything like that, but it's well worth like just being in your. I could see it in a lot of people's top 10s because it's just something you could pick up and play for a little bit. Just go till you die, and you do it the next run or whatever. So, hats off to Microsoft for getting that into Game Pass, and it's a perfect Game Pass game of just, hey, try this. I found out that I really like it, and now I can just pop in and play it whenever I feel like it for a while, and I probably, yeah. So, totally a person that will endorse Vampire Survivors when it comes down to us talking about our top games of the year for sure. And I think I played a little bit of Soccer Story as well. If the game has soccer, I got to play it. So it's, I guess you could say it's like Golf Story. You're in a town that everybody loves soccer, but then somebody came in. It's basically a riff on FIFA. If you don't know, FIFA had a big scandal happen, and especially with this World Cup that's still going on, why Qatar got it and everything. So there's a guy that's supposed to be like Sepp Blatter is the one that's the guy that's above Soccer Inc. And the only way you can play soccer is officially Soccer Inc. sanctioned. You cannot play it in your town or whatever. And so there's this magic soccer ball that shows up, and you have to then do things around the town with the magic soccer ball.
Is this the plot to that Wrestle RPG you want, on with Vince McMahon instead? Like he'll be the ultimate bad guy?
No, but I just thought it was neat, and it's like not pixel art, but it's like the graphics are kind of very indie and stuff like that. It's made by the same people I think that made the Descenders and all that stuff. So
It's not the sequel to Soccer Kid.
no, no,
Don't forget
but
this game.
it's a fun little enjoyable game. I liked it. It has like a quest system, like an RPG. So there's that to it as well. Yeah, I think that it's cool that they made this and it exists, and there's different places you can go to, little biomes or whatever, where you can figure out more soccer stuff, and you play soccer games with people. You make your own team, and so I'm all down to continue to play it. Of course, don't know if I actually might. This might be a game that I finished and everything, but I enjoyed my time with it for sure. It's a cute little game. You can play it on Game Pass. So yeah, definitely if you enjoy soccer and adventure games, I would give this a shot.
My two favorite
For
things.
sure. Well, hey, there's some of my favorites, so that's what matters at the end. Yeah, I put Summer Build down, but I actually hadn't really. I played like the beginning section, and I haven't really gotten to do much with it. So I'll talk about that next time. Sure. So
Jens and I played through Sniper Elite 5.
How was that?
More Sniper Elite?
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
he was like, "Oh, you can put it in the Game of the Year list now." I'm like, "Yeah, I could."
Yeah, I guess you could.
I mean, it's perfectly fine, but it's to me, it's like a glorified expansion pack, or like these levels are bigger, I guess, but I'm still blowing up Noxie's testicles the same way as the last two games. So
that's the part that matters.
That should be the subtitle.
So okay, really quick here, so we can get to the Game Awards predictions. Summer Games Fest gets an official date. It's gonna start Thursday, June 8th with the kickoff show, the opening night live, the whatever you want to call it, where they kind of do the big, oh, here it is, Summer Games Fest officially on, and it will keep on going until whenever it is it's supposed to end. The bulk of it is going to happen between June 9th and the 12th, which I think is like a week before E3. Oh no, that was last year's. I'm sorry. So it's still happening like a week before E3. So Jeff Keighley had to usurp the E3 coming back, his own. That's his whole thing. Let's see which one we're talking about the most by the time we get to it. But we knew it was happening. Good thing that we know that there's a date now, June 8th. Get ready for that. And hey, also Thursday, December 8th, which is, a few days away, the Game Awards is happening, and it's apparently going to be shorter, guys. What a miracle.
Only 4 hours long.
Thank God Jeff Keighley listened about something, because if there was one thing that really dragged down the Game Awards for its entire existence since Jeff Keighley has had it, is that it's super long and it really drags by the end. So hopefully this helps.
I don't mind the length. I mind the trailers or the stupid ad stuff they do.
I don't know.
If it was like 3 hours of Tim,
yeah.
If it was like 3 hours of Tim Schafer up there like accepting awards, that'd be cool. But
they don't focus on awards, so
when it's Andrew WK jamming out to some Rage 2 bullshit, I'm like, all right, I'm done.
You gotta throw that in every time we talk.
Yeah. Highlight of the show.
I'm glad that it's gonna be shorter. I get fatigued after a while. Like, it's why I really don't watch that many award shows anymore, because they tend to go super long. And when you're trying to just get to the end and get to that game of the year, and then also it's like hardly ever about the awards. By the time you get to like the 15th trailer, it's like, okay, God, let's go. So he does say that okay, there's going to be fewer bigger games because we had to make this shorter somehow. So and you still got to have the ads. So we'll see. This could be good. This could be bad. I'm hoping it's better on the good end, not the bad end. But you know, I'm hoping for
Miracle.
yeah, a miracle, and it will be. Look, it's never going to be the perfect show. There's always going to be something we're not going to like about it, but I'm hoping we have more good things to say than bad when we're like reviewing the show in a few days. So, that being said, let's get on with it. I so first off, for clarity, I took out some of the awards, like all the esports stuff. We don't do esports here. So what's the point of talking about the awards? We don't even know any of these people. So it's pointless. The most anticipated thing is not really an award. It's a glorified popularity contest. So I took that out. And there's a few other ones.
Everyone knows Dragonflight 2 is going to win that anyway. So
yeah. So, but anyway, let's get started. We'll do Game of the Year last, obviously, but we'll just go through most of the big ones here. So let's start with, I guess, from the bottom. Best adaptation, which is not really, I guess, game related. It's gaming adjacent. The nominees are Arcane League of Legends. That's the League of Legends, like 3-episode anime thing, which I still need to go watch because everybody says it's great. Cyberpunk Edge Runners, The Cuphead Show, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the movie, and Uncharted, the movie. What do you think is going to win? And if what you think is going to win is not what you want to win, I guess you can give that one as well.
I could see Sonic winning of that list. I'd probably say Sonic. I know that Cyberpunk show is like not terrible. But I thought it was weird that they said like it's not getting a season 2. Like we thought we didn't want one, and it's like, why didn't you? Like
they never had the idea of it being a season 2 because it was always meant to be like this 10-episode thing and that's it. And it was supposed to be just a way to get you to want to play the game, and it did accomplish that at least.
But Sonic 2 probably, and damn sure ain't gonna be Uncharted.
I'll go with, I think Cyberpunk is Edge Runners is going to win, and that's what I would want to win because that anime is pretty awesome.
I think Sonic 2 is probably going to win.
All right.
Arcane is really good, though.
Yeah,
I know Jens likes it, too.
All right, I'll have to watch it. That's another recommendation here for Arcane. I know people that swear by it, and they've watched it like multiple times, so...
Well, it's going to be funny next year when everyone just says Mario.
Yeah, that's going to be easy to be just like Mario. What did y'all think of that? Did y'all watch that new trailer?
Yeah, I saw it.
His It's a Me sounded really weak, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Like everything else seemed fine, I guess.
I love the Donkey Kong part, and then obviously having the Mario Kart bit in there was pretty great.
It's weird that like the inference is like the Mushroom Kingdom is like creating these training levels for Mario. Like that's what I got from that trailer. Like
Well, I think it's also like maybe Bowser messing with the worlds is causing them to kind of blend or something. Maybe, you know.
Okay, I thought it was like no, Princess Peach like made these levels for Mario to train him to beat up Koopa.
Yeah, maybe that was hilarious.
I thought it was going to be trying to gain allies to fight Bowser, and so he's having to fight or race or do whatever to get them to agree.
Right.
Maybe that too. Yeah. I'm just excited to watch that thing finally. It looks freaking awesome.
When is Gino going to show up from Mario RPG?
Hey, you never know. Maybe they'll surprise us with that.
I do know that. That's never going to happen.
Best multiplayer: Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Multiverses, Overwatch 2, Splatoon 3, and Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge.
COD, Call of Duty.
Splatoon 3 is what I think will probably win. Although I think Multiverses should probably win.
I think Call of Duty is going to win. Shredder's Revenge was great, so I'm going to say that should win.
That would be cool if it did win. That'd be awesome. Best sports racing game. The usual suspects are here. F1 22, FIFA 23, NBA 2K 23, Gran Turismo 7,
No.
and Ollie Ollie World. Ollie Ollie World is pretty great, actually. It'd be awesome if it won. It's not going to. I'll just say that FIFA wins.
Yeah, I'd say FIFA just because it's like the last FIFA game that anyone's going to care about.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
Best sim strategy game, Dune Spice Wars, Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope, Total War Warhammer 3, 2 Point Campus, which you can play on Game Pass, Victoria 3. Which one? Mario and Rabbids is probably going to win this.
Yeah, although I've heard that Dune Spice Wars game actually isn't terrible.
Yeah,
I've heard good things about it as well.
Yeah, I think Mario Rabbids will win.
Yeah. And that's actually a really great game, so it's still fine. It's better than the first one.
It definitely deserves the win if it does get it for sure. Best family game, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope, Nintendo Switch Sports, and Splatoon 3. So basically the Nintendo category. I'm going to say I would really, 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 really want Kirby to win. But they're probably...
That's not really a family game. That's kind of the weird thing.
Well, if families could play it, your kid can play it, you can play it, But I think Lego Star Wars is probably going to win this one. But I'd love for it to be Kirby.
I'd say Lego Star Wars, or maybe Mario and Rabbids again.
Yeah, I think it'll be Lego Star Wars just because. Well, I don't know. I think the one non-Nintendo game will get the win in this one.
Yeah. Best fighting game. Go ahead.
No one cared about Switch Sports.
I wouldn't say nobody cared about it. It sold pretty well. It's just you didn't hear a lot of people talking about it. Yeah. Best fighting game, DNF Duel, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R. That's a mouthful. King of Fighters 15, Multiverses. And why is Sifu a fight? Sifu's not a fighting game. But all right.
Because they needed a fifth one.
Yeah, they needed to stick it into a category. It would be really cool if Sifu won, but I think honestly, with the way that Multiverses has taken over, I think Multiverses will probably win because it's been such a big talked about game most of the year.
I don't know.
I agree.
I can see that JoJo's game being a winner. That's perfectly fine.
You think that all those people on the panel played that thing?
I played that thing back when it came out originally.
Okay. Oh, you played in arcades or whatever, right?
I played on PS3.
Oh, on PS3. Okay. It's a good game. You like it?
It's fine. It's
It's okay. It is what it is.
I mean, in that list, let's say it's fine.
Fair enough.
Our King of Fighters is still pretty good, but
yeah, that's true.
That's kind of a long in the tooth franchise. So
hey, it came back and doing well, so that's positive.
Yeah.
Best role playing game. Probably know who's going to win here. Elden Ring, Live Alive, Pokemon Legends Arceus. Should note that Pokemon came out too late to be the most recent Pokemon came out too late to be considered. Triangle Strategy and Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I think I will jump out of my seat in excitement if Xenoblade Chronicles 3 wins. But it's one of those, like, if we're going to go by the normal way awards usually go, if you're not going to win your category, what's happening here. Elden Ring is probably going to take this hands down.
Well, everyone knows it's gonna be triangle strategy, man. Come on.
Hey, Triangle Strategy is pretty good, but
No, it'll be Elden Ring for everything.
Yeah, I think it'll
Yep,
be
Elden
Elden Ring, although I think Xenoblade should probably get the win. Or, I kind of feel like Arceus should. Arceus was a lot more impactful than I think a lot of people knew at the time. Because a lot of the best
I think
features
what
of
really hurt it
Arceus-
is the fact that people knew that there was another Pokemon game coming.
Yeah,
So,
but
it's
I mean, a lot of
eh.
the best features from Arceus were put into Scarlet
Yeah.
and Violet.
Exactly, for sure. We got to thank that game for giving us what we got with Scarlet and Violet. Best action adventure game. We're going to see a bunch of these games a lot, so get ready. Plague Tale Requiem, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, and Tunic. Pretty much probably guarantee that God of War is going to take this.
So I'm
Yeah.
going to say that Horizon will take it because I think God of War will win bigger categories, and so they're going to try to spread it around at that point.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be cool if they did it that way, but usually we don't see them do that. Usually we see them like not spread it around, where they have the same game wins quite a few categories. So
Yeah.
it kind of just depends on how the panel voted for this, but yeah. Mark, what do you think?
I think God of War, but I know some people do like Tunic, but I don't think it has enough support.
Really enjoyed Tunic, but
Yeah.
sad. Best action game: Bayonetta 3, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Why is Call of Duty Modern Warfare considered a damn action? Oh, because they don't have a shooter genre.
Because it's an action game. I mean,
whatever.
Yeah.
Neon White, Sifu, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge. Anything but Call of Duty here, and I would be okay. It'd be really cool if Neon White won, or Ninja Turtles, or whatever. But you know what? I could actually really see Ninja Turtles winning here.
I could too, and I hope it wins.
I think Bayonetta 3 will win, but I don't really want it to.
Yeah. Yeah, Bayonetta 3 is technically the biggest game that's in here. This is its actual genre. I just really hope it's not Call of Duty. We just don't need it, folks.
Hey, if it wins the award, though, it'll just prove that it's not important that Microsoft says it is. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, it didn't win, so. Best debut indie, so that means it's this is a brand new game that came out this year. Neon White, Norco, which this is also on Game Pass, just came out to Game Pass as well, so you can go play that. Stray, Tunic, and Vampire Survivors. This could be that moment for Vampire Survivors with all the hype that it's gotten, but I'm gonna say that Stray is probably going to take this. Because if it's up for Game of the Year, like, you're not going to win your category.
I mean, I say Vampire Survivors is going to win that one.
Yeah, I think Vampire Survivors probably will, although I think Tunic should get some love here too.
Yeah, Tunic should definitely get some love for sure. Best indie thing. I'm glad to see this game get some. Cult of the Lamb, Neon White, Sifu, Stray, and Tunic. This is another one of those, like, will they go with Stray? I'm going to go with Tunic here. Probably winning.
Yeah, that seems likely.
See, I think they'll go with Stray here and Tunic as best debut.
Yeah, I wouldn't dismiss Cult of the Lamb. A lot of people like that game. There was a lot of talk about that game when it was first coming out. So
yeah, that's one that made me pause when I saw it.
I forgot we don't need it. Have this in here. We don't really do much with the ongoing games, so I took it out here. But that is a category. Games for Impact, A Memoir of Blue, As Dusk Falls, Citizen Sleeper, Endling, Hindsight, and I Was a Teenage Colonist. Damn it, I can't write. I can't speak today. I was a teenage exocolonist.
I haven't
Honestly,
heard
a
of
lot
any
of
of
these
these games.
Citizen Sleeper is really good. It's on Game Pass. People
I
should
think
go
I've heard of
play
that
it.
one, but
As Dusk Falls, you've heard about it. I talked about it on here. It's the Telltale type game.
is that the like stop motion one or like the
Yes,
photograph
that's
one?
the one that has the
Yeah,
that one.
that can't win then.
I would love for Endling to win, but it's not going to. I think Citizen Sleeper actually might win on this.
I think As Dusk Falls will win just because it got a lot of press when it first came out.
Fair enough on that. Best performance: Ashley Birch as her for Horizon Forbidden West, Charlotte McBurney for Plague Tale Requiem, Christopher Judge, God of War, Manon Gage for Immortality, and Sunny Suljic for God of War Ragnarok. Christopher Judge, since he didn't get it when because what's his face? Whoever did the main character in Red Dead 2 got it that year, so I think they'll give it to Christopher Judge this year.
I think Mr. Tilk himself, Christopher Judge, should get it.
Yeah, it'll be him or Sonny, one of the two.
Yeah. Oh, show. Best audio design. So this is not score. It's like the design of the music. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Gran Turismo 7, and Horizon Forbidden West. So, Elden Ring?
I guess.
Yeah, that'd be my guess.
Yeah. Best score in music. A Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Metal Hellsinger, which I don't care for that music, but I can say it's cool that they made this kind of game for that. And Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 had amazing soundtrack. I'm going to go with that. It's not going to win. Elden Ring is probably going to win or something, but yeah.
I'll say God of War Ragnarok just because Jens is a huge man crush on Beer McCreary.
I'll say Xenoblade will win.
That'd be great if it did win. It should win. Best art direction: Elden Ring, God of War, Horizon Forbidden West, Scorn, and Stray. Scorn definitely deserves to be in here. That is an amazingly done as far as the art goes. I still think about it just because it's so freaking weird. I can see God of War winning this. There.
I think Stray will take it. This is one
Elden
of
Ring
those
again.
lower categories where they can give it to a game that might not have been the biggest game, but was interesting. Yeah. I think Stray will get it here.
Xenoblade got robbed for best narrative. I'll just say that. Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, and Immortality are the ones for narrative. I don't know.
I'd say Ragnarok or Horizon because like Elden Ring doesn't really have a story.
Elden Ring's story is like other Dark Souls games, right? It's
non-existent.
Yeah, it's there, but in parts.
Like you have to like read wikis and bullshit like that. So,
yeah. I mean, there was a big discourse about how Elden Ring does have story and people are just hating on it and all that, whatever.
They're wrong.
So, I think God of War will probably win.
You know what? I think Horizon Forbidden West will get thrown a bone here.
Fair enough. Good You could be right there, for sure. Best game direction: Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Immortality, and Stray. Elden Ring.
No contest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Game of the Year, which is basically the Elden Ring and God of War fight. Plague Tale Requiem also involved in this, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I'm just happy that Xenoblade Chronicles 3 got nominated. But yeah, if it's not Elden Ring, I don't know what we're judging Game of the Year on, because that has the lead in so many different categories, not just the most talked about game, the most influential game, the most sold game. I mean, go on and on. If you one game to sum up this entire year, it's Elden Ring. I mean,
Yep.
I see. When I first read it, I think they're going to give it to God of War, and that's why I said game directional. Elden Ring will get that, and then
really,
Horizon will get narrative. I think they're going to try to split it up to.
I will be look, as much as God of War was getting all the plaudits, I will be very surprised if more people voted for that than Elden Ring.
Well, also God of War is more recent, so it's closer on everybody's mind.
Yeah, I mean, you could be right about that, but wow, that will be a shock to me if Elden Ring doesn't win. But yeah, that's our predictions. I think some of these are really like you can't really dispute them much. It'd be nice if we had more variety, but again, we do have a lot of people to vote for these, and we got to remember that people can't play everything. So you can make up your own Game of the Year list. We're going to do that ourselves coming up pretty soon. But yeah, that's our picks for who's going to win the Game Awards in a few days' time. We know Tekken 8 is going to be there. They
Star
said
Wars.
no. Yeah, Star Wars. They said no new game from the NetherRealm folks. Any games you guys are maybe hoping get shown off or announced Bones. Or Skull and Bones? God.
I'm hoping. I really do. I hope that they're going to have a Dead Island 2 and Skull and Bones trailer back to back.
Just to screw with people. Hey, it got delayed again, folks.
No, and at the end it says, it's actually coming out, we promise.
Right. I hope we have like some kind of Final Fantasy 16 or Rebirth or something trailer. Or the announcement of the Pixel remasters coming to Switch. That'd be cool too.
So if we're just predicting something crazy, I think we're gonna get a weekend beta of the game's escaping my mind now. The Bethesda Starfield.
Yeah.
Starfield, okay.
I think we're gonna get a weekend beta where people can play around with it for a little bit.
I could see them doing that for Redfall, since that game's closer to coming out. Even though Microsoft may not even show up there at all because they don't want anything to affect the Activision thing. So we'll see if that actually happens or not. I wonder if Nintendo's going to have anything. Will they have a big game to announce? Will we finally get the actual release date for Advance Wars Remaster? Who knows that they've been sitting on that for
forever rumored
stealth dropped, and
there's always that forever rumored Metroid Prime.
Yeah, that thing.
Or
the Metroid Prime, at least one remaster, if not the whole collection.
Right, or port, yeah.
It could be that. Sony usually has something, so maybe this game's coming to PC announcement, or
this is when they announced they finally bought Capcom.
God, I can imagine. But yeah, He says he feels good about this show. We'll see if it delivers. I don't know that we're going to do. I'm not going to say we're going to do it right after. I will say probably Friday we might do something. Mark and I, and to not let that get too far away, because I know that that's one of those things you got to cover pretty immediately, or people stop caring.
It's gonna be me saying Sonic Frontiers got robbed for everything.
Right. And then on Tuesday, that Final Fantasy Chronicles Reunion comes out, which I'm excited
And
to play
Crisis Core.
that. Oh, Crisis Core, I'm sorry. Well, Crisis Core Reunion, whatever the damn stupid names they come up with. Dragon Quest Treasures comes out as well, which my wallet is sitting there telling me you don't need that game. You don't need that game. But
I can tell you that also.
I need to stop watching trailers for it. I'm going to convince myself that I want that game. So yeah, you also have what is it that's coming out here pretty quick? Chained Echoes comes out in a couple of days. That's an RPG. The aforementioned Final Fantasy Chronicles, not Final Fantasy Reunion, whatever. Crisis Core, Dragon Quest Treasures, Infinite Guitars comes out the same day. High on Life also comes out the same day. That's going to be on Game Pass. So you've been waiting on that. Neon White comes to the Sony systems. So if you've been waiting on that to come to something that's not Switch or PC, it will be out pretty soon. You also get the Witcher 3 next gen, current gen expansion, or next gen remaster, redo, whatever the hell. Well, it's not a remaster. It's like a upres or whatever.
Well,
Yeah. And then the Azure Striker Gunvolt 3 is coming to the Sony systems as well. So you get that. So there's a few cool things. Callisto Protocol just came out a few days ago. Apparently had
glowing reviews.
Some issues. Midnight Suns also came out. That one actually had some decent reviews.
Yeah.
So, yeah. There's that at least. So, well, until we're here, possibly Friday, if not for sure next week. We'll see you later, everybody.
Later.
Later.
Bye.